La 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 la
La! It's Christmas.
My word.
Well, apparently. Anyway, it's for us today because we are here with some special bikes. Now, obviously, this video is about this bike, the VFR 800X. Don't you dare! Don't you move that camera, Mr. Mark. That's coming in another video, that special bike.
Crossrunner X.
Crossrunner. No, it's an 800X Crossrunner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That what you said?
Yeah, the end. Bye.
Done that. Let's go.
Well, I really like this bike. Now,
Tell me why.
Well, tell me why. I don't know what's wrong with me.
It's Radicam TV. It's not Britain's Got Talent. Because you haven't.
It's got no talent. Anyway, this bike, really nice bike. Now, when you look at the bike, so Mark will pan back a little bit. When you look at the bike, it actually looks quite a basic bike. I don't think it's going to be one of those, wow, look at that bike head turner when somebody rides it around. But the people riding it are going to be, wow, look at the bike that I'm on. This is an incredible machine. It doesn't have to look the best, is it? You know, with the sports bikes, all these colours and stuff, I really like the understatedness of the colours that Honda make, because you know you're getting a good bike. The power on this bike for an 800 is immense for everything you need on the road. It is absolutely insane to ride. I really like it. Flickable, 240 kilos, 20 litre tank. I think they reckon
240 kilos?
Yeah, about that. Let me double check.
No.
No, I've got to check now. I've got to double check. I wish he wouldn't question things like that.
While you're doing that,
242 kilos.
Amazing.
Yeah. 20 litre tank, about 104 brake horsepower. So it's got good horsepower. You know, when Mark, I was following Mark and he kind of left me a little bit because I slowed down. I had to wait for a bus to pull and let me out of the junction. And I just gave it a little bit of beans, as quick as anything, right up to the speed limit, perhaps a tiny little bit over. No, scrub that. But you know what I mean? You know, it really went well. And what I was amazed about is on the screen, which we'll go through in a minute, it said we were doing 43 or 46 miles to the gallon. Now bear in mind this is a demonstrator bike where people will get on the bike and they'll punch it, they won't let it warm up, they'll rag it because it's not their bike and they want to see what it's going to be like in the way that they ride. Actually, that's a good mile per gallon for something like that, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
The handlebars, the right width.
They're at the front.
They're at the front, which is always a bonus. Really nice width apart. My shoulders aren't too far apart, or my arms aren't too far apart or too close. Really good turning circle on it. Really impressed with the turning circle because it's got like full lock.
Wow.
Really good turning circle. All the switch gear, as Mark will home in on the switch gear.
I'm homing.
Standard Honda stuff, so you can't go wrong. You know exactly where it is. However, there's always a caveat to this stuff, isn't there? On this side,
come to this side.
You have standard switch gear, indicators, and I kept hitting that, and I think it's because I'm not used to the bike. As soon as you get used to it, you're going to be hitting the indicators rather than the horn. But the horn is a really big button.
What's that little switch there?
Well, this little switch, I like the idea of the little switch being there because that is your heated grips.
Wow.
Yeah. The only thing that I don't like about having the switch there is, if you can see my hand,
it's quite small, that, isn't it?
Yeah. With that not being there, you've got kind of that much at the edge of your hand if you want to hold on. But I mean, it's something you get used to, but it does reduce the size of the bar for your hand, which is a bit of a shame. Something I did notice on this bike, absolutely no vibrations through the pegs, through the handlebars, no numb hand. Really impressed. Now this isn't one of those digital fly-by-wire type things that does it through the brain of the bike. It's got cables, isn't it? So had to get used to it being quite aggressive coming off and on the power. Other than that, once you get used to the bike, it's going to be really quite smooth because you'll get into it. Now I said when I was riding, Mark,
coming back to you, hang on,
that you would probably say, oh, you're such a knob, Toby, what are you on about? What does it matter about the shape of the mirrors?
Yes!
He nearly said it. But the shape of the mirrors, I think, actually fits with the aesthetics of the bike. And I was saying it's much like going and buying food, isn't it? You don't just buy food because you want to eat that plate of food. You buy it because it looks nice as well on all the adverts and stuff. It's the same as
What kind of restaurants do you go to? I go because I'm hungry.
He is in the depths of the corner. I'm trying to educate him. But people will buy the bike not only on how it feels, how it rides, but also a big consideration is how it looks, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you are right.
And you know, if it had massive round things, it wouldn't go with the look of the bike. Really good placement. You know, sometimes that we talk about these mirrors being too close, and you having your arm kind of across that bit, so you're only kind of using that. Could see nearly everything behind me with just a tiny bit of arm in it. It was really good without having to change it. And they've thought about that because on these reservoirs, they've got the strut for the the wing mirror rather than it being on the handlebar. So it's actually a little bit further away as well.
Look at that.
Look at that. Now, obviously being a little bit more of a basic bike, this has got one of these things.
That's a key.
That's what it is. Now, I was talking as we're going along that I've had wireless ride or keyless ride for quite a while, same as Mark. Haven't you, Mark?
I have.
And I've kind of got used to it. But every time I get on the bike, every time I'm on a tour, every day, I'm feeling in my pocket to make sure it's there. And it's a bit of OCD thing and a bit of dyslexia thing, but I have to actually then stop sometimes.
I thought it was an Admiral Nelson impression you were doing.
But I have to actually physically take the key out of my pocket sometimes to tell my brain that I've actually got it. If you've got a key, there's only one place it can go, and if the bike's running, it's in the ignition. Solves the problem. I really do like it. So
back to the dark ages.
Well, the dark ages were very good. Anyway, the key is really quite far down. I don't know whether that's an issue for some people, but these risers for the handlebars come quite a way up because you've got all of these plastics, so it's quite a way down, but got a really nice screen there. Now,
I'm not sure if I can see the screen on this because it's a bit...
Might not be able to. However, one thing I thought when I got on the bike, initially, probably what you've just thought, Mark, is that I can't actually see everything with the glare.
Yeah.
When you're riding it, it's really strange. You can see everything.
Then, do you think? Can't even see the screen.
Might be able to. We'll try and do something in post-production, but...
Post-production? Listen to you.
Now, the one thing, there are a couple of things that I didn't quite like with the bike. Very, very small things. The fact that they've got this button here takes up some of that room that we've talked about, but the screen, really good screen. It's really vibrant, but everything's the same colour and it's all on italics, and it's kind of difficult to read at a glance until you get used to where all the information is on the bike. And because of that angle, I think sometimes you're going to get a bit of reflection, especially if you're out on a tour with the sun behind you. Whether that's going to be an issue, I don't know. It certainly hasn't been much of an issue riding, but I've had to move my head a little bit to see little bits. And I think what I would have liked to have seen is important information in perhaps a different colour that hones your brain into seeing it straight away. And of course, I'm not used to the bike, so people, when they get used to riding the bike, if they buy one, they'll see it.
A bit more vertical.
Yeah, and I've tried moving it, but I can't see that there's... On some of them, you really have to be quite aggressive with them, don't you? Click them, but there's nothing there that makes me feel like it's going to actually move and click.
Oh, it come off in my hand, Chief.
Yeah. Indicators and lights, let's do those.
Let's do those. They're on all the time, did you know that?
These ones?
Your indicator lights?
Yeah, it's almost like the American style, isn't it?
Is that I think Honda have started doing it now, haven't they?
But they're really bright, all LED lights, which is what you would expect this day and age, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they're kind of, this is like the VFR, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's almost like a new take on them, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's really nice. The screen, as we're there, because they're just lights, aren't they? They're really bright. Had no problem with the lights. Now the screen, if I can put my...
If I hold your microphone for you.
Thank you very much. Right, now the screen... Hello.
Hello.
Am I in it?
You are in it, yeah. It's not all about you,
now,
you know.
Honda have had this thing that they've recognised that people have been taking one hand off the handlebars while they've been riding, so that they can change the level of the screen.
Yep.
Now I was really worried about this being quite a small screen and having quite a lot of buffeting.
Yep.
no buffeting at all. Perhaps it could have done with being up, perhaps about
that as
that
high as
much
it'll
for
go?
me.
It is, isn't it?
I'm not sure. But
We'll
because
try.
because they don't want you using one hand for safety reasons, to adjust it while you're on the go, you have to stop. Some will say that's great, some will say that's not. Some will ride along with no hands on the handlebars and do it while they're riding.
Just
anyway.
your windscreen that much, though,
But
do you?
that is at the top.
Oh, right. Wow.
Now, I didn't have any issue there at all. I perhaps might have tried it with perhaps another inch just to see if it changed anything, but didn't have any buffeting, didn't feel sick like I did on the Triumph Tiger that I had years and years ago. I had to stop and I almost drove it into a ditch because I was like that all the way. And I tried so many screens, but for me, 5'10", 5'11", perfect screen. It's got a nice click in there, so you know it's sturdy, it's not going to blow up. But I suppose what you could do to circumnavigate getting it in the right place is just move it up there, and when you're riding along, just grab it at the top and put it in the right place.
There you go. There you go.
So
ideas in action there,
yeah.
Mr. T.
Now I don't think just doing. Oh, it has got several points. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different settings. So that's really good. So it's quite versatile, and I expect you'd be able to get other screens for it as well. I like it.
Wheels.
I like it. Wheels.
It's got two, one at the front,
Yeah,
one at the back.
one at the front, one at the back.
Angled.
Oh my
valve
God!
stand.
Look at that.
Oh,
Look at that, and you need them with the size of these discs. I mean, look at those.
big disc.
But it always amazes me with Hondas how when you look at everything, how well this is all machined. We say it all the time with Hondas, don't we?
We do, yeah. Aluminium bash plate. Not many bikes are doing that, and a lot of them are those crappy little plastic ones.
Yeah, really good. Not much protection well, there is no protection for dirt and stuff going on the radiator.
It's a grill over the front of it though, isn't it?
Oh yes, there's a grill over the front of the indicator. So that's really good. Hopefully that comes as standard. But even things like these pipes and stuff, they're braided or they've got braid on them, which actually goes with the look of the bike, doesn't it? Again, going back to our basicness, I don't want to run the bike down because I really like it. Dipstick, it's one of those ones rather than looking on the screen like a lot of bikes.
Don't be so hard on yourself.
What? But nice can on the back, nice shaped can, nice look of the can. It really is, and it sounds really nice. Do you want to hear it? I better go around the other side in case it shoots off. Are you ready? Are you ready for great?
Going past, hang on.
No, that's the bike.
Okay.
Are you ready for greatness? Is that nice or what?
Nice.
Yeah, really, really nice.
Exhaust aficionados will love that.
Oh yes, I love it. And you know, we were talking about people putting different cans on their bikes. Personally, I don't get it because I found out some information today that putting a different can on there changes some of the torque lower down, doesn't it? There will be people out there that know far more than me.
Yeah.
Luggage. You can put luggage on these places that Mark was trying to put his little digit in. They're those floating luggage as well, because they clip in there at the top, and there's a bit that goes over there that will float a little bit, so it's not going to cause extra stress on all the connected bracket.
Can't fit a top box on it though.
Well, I'm sure there's a way that you can.
Well, no.
You can't a standard on here.
No, there might be something, an aftermarket thing. There's a nice big comfy seat there for a pillion though.
I tell you what, both seats really comfortable, and I thought
both seats. How are you riding it?
I've got a massive arse. But come round the back, we'll finish this bit because you've got LED backlights as well. And we have seen on some bikes that they've had LED on some of the front, but then nothing on the back. LED on the back, which is good, longer lasting.
30% brighter.
30% brighter. Wow.
Probably so.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
I read that somewhere.
Yeah. It also comes with this thing that you can hold a helmet off.
All right.
Awesome. And you've got your, I don't know whether you can see in behind here, Matt, adjustment for suspension.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's a hand knobby type turny thing.
Yeah.
Chain again.
It's very technical that you use.
Yeah. we
Very
use
small
technical
hugger.
terms, don't we? Small hugger, which is great, but they not only fit the protection on the front radiator, they fit that hugger as well, which is really, really good. All in all, I really,
centre stand.
really like it.
No centre stand.
Oh, we'll overlook that. This is a Honda. It
So
has no centre stand.
I'm guessing that you like this then.
I really like it. I think that it's, if you're looking for a bike that you might want to do some touring, you do some commuting, out with your mates, out for a bimble, out with your partner on the back because it's got a good seat with good hand rails on there as well. I think it's one of those road bikes that's almost, it's trying to be, and I think it's quite, it feels quite accomplished, and it could be quite a good tourer as well.
Shape-wise,
What?
Ducati,
Yeah,
the Multistrada,
yeah,
and also the XR, BMW XR.
yes, yeah.
And they've all dropped down this engine size, haven't they?
They have, they have.
Oh, there you go.
They have. I like the fact that it's got good size wheels, and on bigger bikes like Africa Twins, I was quite surprised with the difference in the handling with bigger wheels. This is so flickable, and it's really light. 240 kilos. Sounds quite heavy, but when you're riding, it's really not.
Cool.
Really not. Really, really like it. I think it ticks a lot of boxes for a lot of people. And it's a Honda. Hondas are great.
There you go.
So, if you like the video, give it a massive thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button wherever that may well be on this video. And we'll see you in the next video.